Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer, Karl Jobst, A Path Forward. Look, I have the perfect case for Karl Jobst. It has everything that he needs. It's a retro gamer, right? He's older, right? And he's part of the old school. And there's a mystery to be solved here, right? This is the kind of videos that we want to see, investigative, hard-hitting videos. Now, Karl, we're going to ask questions here. Okay, let's not make any accusations. Right? You're going to ask questions, but let me tell you, I'm going to give you gold right here. There is so much to this lore, so much investigation that you can go through. And I'm just going to give you a start. I'm going to give you a start. Now, some of you out there, you guys think that I hate Karl. I don't. Absolutely not. Do not hate Karl. I don't know him. Right? Just clowning on him. I'm surprised that you guys are so sensitive with a little clowning. What are we in the 24th, 25th? It's 25 days since he lost his case. He was clowning on Billy Mitchell for years. And you didn't have a problem with that. But 1 month, you guys are falling apart? Come on. Come on. You hate him. I don't hate him. I don't know him. Just like I don't hate John Hancock. Just clowning on dumb decisions as I see them. So we can entertain ourselves, so we can forget about the mundane stuff that we're doing, whether you're listening to me at work or driving a car or whatever. Let me give you a little bit of background, Karl, right? Just to show you how rich this story can be. Now, first, let me tell you guys, I am a game hoarder, right? Once you cross 1,000 games and you're still actively pursuing physical media, I think it's okay to admit you have a problem. Right? I have an addictive personality, and that's okay because this addiction is a family-friendly hobby. Right? The only side effect is I'm running out of room. It costs me money to keep this collection up because now I got to pay insurance on it, right? Every month, and I have to pay storage because I can't even fit enough crap here. Regardless, okay, let's pretend that wasn't a factor. I am a self-admitted game hoarder. And I recognize fellow game hoarders like my friend over here, Mr. John Hancock, which I also do not hate, right? I'm just clowning on him because this is a very dumb idea, right? And I think it would be the perfect subject for Mr. Karl Jobst to investigate. Now, let me tell you this video right here is 6 years old. Why is the museum taking so long in my response to e-begging? Is the museum out yet? No. And it shouldn't be. It's a ridiculous idea. It's always been a ridiculous idea. Guys, my collection is worth tens of thousands of dollars. Okay? And I insure it. But if I had that kind of collection, right, that is life-changing money what he has. Those are hundreds of thousands of dollars what he has, right, in the high figures. And if I was him, I would have sold it already. I would have sold it at the peak. Now the market is going down. Some of his collections nobody wants anymore because the people aren't alive anymore. People that want those, they're not alive. So he's not even at the peak anymore. He should have sold it 3 years ago. Regardless, guys, right? That's what I would do. This is not financial advice of any kind. Okay, this is just an interesting subject that I think Karl should investigate, right? This is the kind of video that would get into the millions of views because the rabbit hole that you would go into, right? The many branches of the story are insane, So we're going to play this video and commentate. John, please do not strike me. I know that you've done that in the past. Please don't do it now. It's just not going to make you look good. Plus, in all fairness, this is 6 years old, right? It's 6 years old. What would I do, right? That's what we're going to talk about, right? My opinions. They're just my opinions, guys. I'm just some idiot on the internet, right? Don't take it so seriously. People take this entertainment seriously. It's just somebody else's opinion. That's all it is.
Kind of a discussion about what is taking so long for the museum and my thoughts on e-begging. And there's been some recent videos been done about it, and I thought
that's recent, 6 years ago. Why is it taking so long? I'll tell you why. As a game hoarder, I know what it is. It's like Mr. Krabs parting away with a penny. You don't want to. I love this. Guys, I will give money away before I give my video games away. Let me tell you that.
I would do my thoughts on it. And first, let's talk about the museum. There's some people out there, a very small, disgruntled group of YouTubers. You know, anybody can get behind an avatar and say stuff.
Yeah, I think he's talking about Radical Rick there. Take notes, Carl. Take notes. Radical Rick and a few of us had, made comments on his stuff.
And talking about John's never going to do museum. It's just a ruse, etc., etc.
And that's because, a lot of people gave him games for the museum, right? And let me tell you what, this guy doesn't seem like a sophisticated guy for me. And I think when he said the museum part of this, the game hoarder gene had not kicked in yet. Once you get that, man, it's all over. Let me tell you. It's like, a drinker can recognize a drinker. That's why he's looking down. He can't look straight at the camera, right?
It's kind of the same people just talking smack. And
yes, we are talking smack.
Usually it doesn't get to me, but when people go after your integrity that don't know you, that just want to talk stuff or question it, it's really frustrating. And I'm just here to answer kind of why something like such as big as putting on a museum.
Now, guys, let me tell you, I don't know about anything about this man's integrity, so I wouldn't question it. But I know a game hoarder when I see one.
Takes time. And so the short answer is I work very hard. I work 60 plus hours a week between YouTube, and I'm a second grade teacher.
Wait a minute. Between YouTube and YouTube, is it work? Is it work? Come on. It's a hobby.
And so a second grade teaching position that has insurance, that is the livelihood of my family. And so that takes up a lot of my time, and I like doing it. And I've been in education a while now. And before that,
props to John for being a teacher, man. These days, being a teacher is just ridiculous here in the United States. You know why? Because parents do a real crappy job with their kids. That's why. I mean, that is really the reasons that parents are not teaching discipline at home, and it doesn't work, right? It doesn't work. Poor teachers do not get paid enough. I have to say that.
I was a college instructor, and so finding time to dedicate to putting on a museum, that takes a while. There's a lot of logistics. There's location in the Northwest.
Well, not only that, it's a really dumb idea, right? And I'll discuss some other points of, my business analysis, if you will, my business opinions, but it's not, financial advice for any of you, but I have my opinions that'll give you, if you want to do something like this, how to do it without really affecting your family.
Any area is going to be expensive. And so finding building, location, revenue for that, all that's going to take time and logistics. And so there's a lot of moving parts with the museum on why it's taking time and why I don't have it now. And it's kind of like working on a bicycle while riding on it at the same time. And so, yes, I'd like to get more details, hopefully in this year with an account.
Didn't happen. Happened a couple of years after, and I'll give the other update.
Year of today, of moving forward on, the next steps. And so what I'm doing is I'm doing a video saying I'm working on it, and I'm not just sitting back, collecting games from people and doing nothing about it. So what do you notice back here is that my main shelves of my Nintendo collection are bare, and that's right.
Now, one of the criticisms is that he took donations of games, right? And he wasn't transparent to a lot of his critics, right? On how those games were being used. Were they being resold? Where was he keeping them? And where's the museum? We gave you these games for the museum, and it's years. Now, take in mind again, this is 6 years ago, and 6 years ago, people were questioning where the hell is the museum.
I had a good friend come and has transported my entire Nintendo collection to the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, and my collection is going to be on public display. And, I don't know of many collectors that would do that first.
Well, were you compensated for that, number one? Right? So, were some of those games that went to that collection donated? Right? Is there insurance involved? I mean, I wouldn't. First of all, guys, he's right. There's not many game collectors that would do that. But this is a business, whether he realizes it or not. When you do that, right, they're going to say this is John Hancock's collection. That's marketing, right? That's free marketing. Again, he hasn't said whether or not he was compensated for that or what the reason was for. Even if you're doing for charity, it's free advertising. That's one of the reasons you donate to charities, for example, right? But he's doing it at a game expo where retro gamers hang out and retro gamers subscribe to YouTube channels, right? So can you write it off as an expense as far as marketing? Yeah, absolutely. You can write it off, right? You can buy insurance. You can do, transport. You can do it as part of your business. Again, this is not financial advice. I'm just saying what could be possible, right? If you have your channel set up as a business.
Second of all, allowing someone to pick up all my games, including stadium events, all the games that are part of my Nintendo collection.
Again, was it for free? Right? That's the big question. I mean, if it's just out of the kindness of your heart, just for free advertising, that's fine, but it's still free advertising. But you haven't said whether you got paid or not. Like, these are the questions that people have, right? And why they don't feel that this man is transparent. That's what, Karl Jobst can explore here. This is the kind of subject matter that he does well in, right? I don't have time to go look at all the paperwork and stuff, the stuff that he does. But Karl Jobst does, right? He could make like a 3-part series on this.
95% of them purchased with my own money.
95%, not all. That 5%, right? Those people that gave it to you for the museum deserve an answer.
And on display. And yes, I've had some help with that, and I'm very grateful for that support. And those people who know me, who are very well aware of my vision, have wanted to contribute to that. And so,
see, the problem is just a vision, right? You have goals, you have a vision, but there's no action. There's nothing in the dirt. There is no museum. They contributed for the museum, the thing that doesn't exist, the thing that you're talking about in this video 6 years after, right? This is why this is such a bad idea. It's a terrible idea. Because you have your games, people don't know what your life is like. You might have challenges, might have troubles. Guys, if you ever do anything for this channel, whether it's, I don't know, people that given super chats or subscribe to the channel or, do super stickers, whatever the heck YouTube does, okay? You have to be very transparent and say, look, every single dollar that you give me is probably going to end up in game hoarding. Any YouTube revenue that I get is for my selfish needs of collecting more and more game and hardware, right? That's all it's for, right? But you can't say it's for a museum and never do the museum and then get pissed off when people are asking, well, where the hell is it? Like, I donated to you. I gave you this, and there's no answers. Right? It just keeps on going and going and going. Support me on Patreon. Give me this. Give me that. Give me the other. And there's no results. There's no concrete steps. Up to this point, right, when he made this video. And this video is 6 years ago. You still can't buy tickets to this museum, by the way. I think the first console that's going to be at this museum as you walk in is going to be the Intellivision Amico.
There's other people that kind of see that. They see my collection or see what I'm doing, and they have different thoughts about it. And it's just not true. It says, everybody's going to, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to whether I do a museum or not. And
yes. And we're still waiting.
And really, just the only way to silence the critics is to do one. And so that's what I got to do. And I'm aware of that. And it's something I want to do. It's just, there's a lot of moving parts with doing that. And it's not as easy as people think.
See, the problem that you have is that other people, without doing what you did for this long of time, had already done it. They have jobs too, right? They have jobs, they have families, they go to work, they do all the stuff that you do. For some reason, you think that these excuses only apply to you. We all have problems, right? Not everybody promises to make a video game museum. And the people that have your same problems, have the same issues, and they got it done, right? And again, I think that this whole idea of a video game museum is absolutely insane, right? For starters, I don't think he should be doing it, right? If I'm going to clown him for anything, it's just for the idea of the museum. I mean, what do? Go look at games that you're never going to play, right? You're going to stare at them just like you are behind the the shelf back there and go, oh, wow, look, another game I can't touch. I'll just look at the box. It's not like the box you can spin them, right? Can you imagine if it was like 3D displays where you can spin the box and look at everything, open it, and do all that? You couldn't have enough room, right? You would need multiple airplane hangars to do this stuff. So it's just a completely insane idea in this day and age. I think at a point, 6 years ago, right, back in 2012, 2014, if you would have opened it up, great. But now, when it's all about digital downloads, this idea is insane. Having this kind of money inside your house, right, and promising that you're going to be building a museum, Jesus Christ, it's just game hoarding at its finest. Now, the other thing that people don't realize, and he doesn't realize, and a lot of fans doesn't realize, he's flexing every time. Look at that collection back there. All retro gamers are just drooling, me included, right? We're like, darn, look at that N64, looks so cool, right? But that's like a guy wearing a big-ass gold chain saying that he's humble. Let's go.
Especially when, the museum essentially would have to be my main job. And so that's kind of...
no, it wouldn't. But we'll talk about that later.
Where I'm at. Because that's, when it comes down to it, it's going to take a lot of money. And so I have some options I'm going to look at before...
The museum is going to take a lot of money. Yikes. Right? So the people already gave you money for games. And now the museum is going to need a lot of money. Man, what a business plan. I like it.
Talking further about it just because it's going to take time. It's not going to be overnight. It's not going to be today. It's not going to be tomorrow.
It's not going to be 6 years from now. Karl, please investigate this. This is like a Scooby-Doo mystery. The John Hancock Museum. Karl Jobst. Scooby-Doo Mysteries. The John Hancock Museum.
And it's just something that takes a while to start. And so...
Takes a while to start. You see, 6 years ago. When was this? I think this guy started like in... I don't even know, man. It's been so long. It's It's got to be at least 10 years. 10 years, he can't get it done. He just can't. I'm telling you, it's like Mr. Krabs trying to get trying to get a penny out. You can't do it. He's a game hoarder. I'm telling you, it takes one to know one. Game Hoarder right here.
You know, that's really it's weighed on my mind. You know, for people to question what I'm doing my stuff, and this is not coming from a lot of people. This is just a few haters out there. You know, there's always, you know, YouTube is, you know, you want to go for the worst comments. Sometimes you can find them on YouTube, and
you sure can, but not everybody hates you. It's just a real terrible idea. John, your problem is you don't do what you say you're going to do. It takes too long. You don't want to give anybody explanations. You just said they're my games. Well, if it's a museum, it's going to be the people's games, including the people that gave you games so you can start a museum. I'm pretty sure they didn't think it was going to take, you know, this amount of time, right? Even here, when you gave this update 6 years ago, they would have thought, okay, maybe 3 years. I mean, the pandemic was a blessing for this guy, right? Because, oh my gosh, now I got a break. I could blame it on the pandemic. But, you know, you could buy real estate during the pandemic.
On the other side, you can find some of the best comments you find on YouTube, and it's a lot of the loyal people that continue to tune into my humble channel. And so,
my humble channel. I got hundreds of thousands of games, so many that, you know, I can start a museum. That's a humble brag.
Yeah, I just had to talk about it, about, you know, why is it taking so long for the museum and e-begging and other people. So other YouTubers that accept games, people don't realize the hard work that YouTubers do.
What? Digging ditches is hard work. Unloading trucks in the summer is hard work. Working construction is hard work. All things that I've done. Picking up bodies, right, for a mortuary is hard work. Doing pest control, right, covering up homes with tarps is hard work. I've done all those things, and I'm doing YouTube. Let me tell you, doing YouTube is not hard work. It's not. It's enjoyable work, especially when you're talking about your hobbies. It's a hobby. It's not hard work. And now he's going to throw, in my opinion, other people under the bus. This doesn't have to do with any other YouTubers. Yes, other YouTubers accept games and take donations, but they're not claiming that they're going to start museums for the ask, right? When people give games to anybody, whether it's me or anybody else, they know the only reason they're giving it to them is for that person to enjoy the games in however they want, right? If somebody gives me a game, they absolutely know they're giving it to one sick individual, right? A complete game hoarder. But when they're giving it to you, they're giving it to you for a museum in hopes for them to go see it in the museum and say, I gave them this game. And it could be the 7th copy of whatever, you know, game they're talking about. It's not even theirs, but they can say, oh yeah, I gave it to them. I gave them that copy.
They constantly crank out videos, and fans send YouTubers games all the time. And you know, I know Open Cart Surgery, John Riggs, great guy, and he's gotten some stuff sent to him.
Yeah, good for him. But he's not starting a museum. He's an Amico supporter, right? Steak with that sizzle. Sizzle that steak, whatever he said. And then he showed up remember guys, he showed up the box ahead of time or something like that, revealed what was inside.
For him. And that's not e-begging. And
no, it's not.
Radical Reggie, the Northwest, you know, the Metal Jesus crew, we get sent stuff. And
yeah, they get sent stuff, right? You know, but when you have roof problems, when you have construction problems, when you have museum problems, that's when people start calling the e-begging, right?
Grateful for it, and to me, that's not e-begging. And
to you, that's your own personal opinion.
I think it's a derogatory term, and it's something that's like, you know, we don't tell people.
Well, it is a derogatory term, right? If people have donated games to you for years and years and years for a video game museum that, in my opinion, should never happen, you should just tell them, you know what, it ain't happening. I wanted to do it. I couldn't do it. You know, I'm a game hoarder, just like Gen X Gamer said. He's a game hoarder. He's a degenerate. I have to accept my condition. Oh man, when is GameStop opening? Never mind. Let's get on with the video.
To send stuff, people send stuff to us because they like our channel, or they like what we do with it, or talk about it, and those people appreciate that, and other outsiders look in and they get jealous, or they judge it. They want to perceive it a certain way, and it's just not true. It's just, whatever. Like, it's just whatever. And I don't let the naysayers rain on my parade, because you know what? I'm very clear on my direction, and I will shut you up with
What? You don't have to shut him up. Why don't you just make money?
what I do with this collection. And it's just one of those things. For people that have known me a long time, they know I'm clear on my direction. It just takes time, and
No, you're not. What are you talking about? You it's been close to a decade. You've been claiming to make a video game museum, and it hasn't happened. That's the opposite of what you're saying. The complete opposite.
is everything in life. And right now, today, is probably not the time that a museum's going to open up. But hopefully, with some of my games at Portland Retro Gaming Expo, with some of my games, entire Nintendo collection on public display, hopefully that can really kind of spark the fire and really kind of get the ball rolling with me moving forward with it. Because I have this great vision of having, I have 28 complete game collections and been collecting a long time, way before YouTube and way.
A museum is something for everybody, but every time he talks about his games, it's always me, right? That's the symptoms of the game hoarder, and that's okay, man. That's okay. Just embrace the disease. You don't want to share this, man. You don't. It's okay. It's cool. If you just told people, you know what, I'm just a degenerate game hoarder, it's okay. People will still give you the games, right? People that still like you will still give you the games. What I want Karl Jobst to do is to trace all this paperwork and to see what's really been going on for almost a decade.
Way before I was doing it serious, and I just really look forward to moving forward and showcasing what I have. I do it for that purpose, and so I don't want to have 5 rooms in my house. I don't want to have the games stay here, because, frankly, I think that would be a waste. I think any big mega.
It's been a waste for a long time then. Oh man, all that enjoyment, and imagine just walking into that room with all those games. It's just so zen. For a game hoarder, let me tell you, when I walk into my room and I see all these games and I see all these consoles, man, it's just the best feeling in the world. I can just imagine what it is, walking into his palace, right? His humble game collection, and seeing all that stuff, man. Oh, geez, it just takes you to another planet as a game hoarder.
At some point has to make hard decisions about, is enough enough? I never went out.
No. The answer is no. It's never enough. You got to be obsessed with it. I need 3 copies. Let me see how many copies I got here. I got like 7 copies of Persona 5. Jeez. It's never enough, John. Ever. It's a lovely sickness.
To have the largest game collection. I don't have an ego like that. It never was my number one goal, and eventually is to share the games with everybody, and to have an educational center too, not just to showcase a bunch of games. And so
educate on what? The history of video games, something you can watch on the internet. I'm telling you, this is a bad idea. But don't worry, I know this video is long, right? But I'm trying to give Karl the most amount of information possible, right? To get him going.
That's it. I just kind of a long ramble today, but it was on my mind.
All right, so the latest update is that he set up a nonprofit organization. And this is where it gets interesting, guys. This is where the Karl Jobst power of knowledge can come in, his research. Again, Karl, you got to ask questions, right? You're probing, not making any accusations, right? This is a teacher, right? Don't be going crazy, right? Using, as Mudahar put it, passionate words. But he created a nonprofit organization. Now, how can this work, right? If it was me, right? I'm not saying this is John, right? Let's be clear. If it was me, and I'm not giving anybody financial advice, right? But this is what certain nonprofits do, right? If you look at certain nonprofits, it'll tell you how much money actually is going to the beneficiaries or whatever, right? So one thing you could do, or I would do, right, if I had this many games, is I would sell them to the nonprofit, right? The nonprofit starts getting money. Remember, he told you this nonprofit, the museum needs money, right? So now you can donate to this nonprofit, get a tax rate. You know, we don't know exactly how much money is going to go to the museum, right? But you got to pay for the games. The games aren't free, right? He's not a rich man. He's a teacher, right? You're not going to donate, right? And I'll be just averaging here, right? Let's just say that for the sake of argument, right? And not John, but if you have something comparable, you had $500,000 of worth of a collection, right? These prices can go pretty high. He's got some really rare stuff, let me tell you. But for the sake of argument, let's just say it's 500 grand at the toppest of the top value, right? If you get the best price for everything, it's worth $500,000. Well, you know, it's not going to look good if you sell it at that price for the charity, right? But the charity can pay you, say, $400,000, and you can make, quote unquote, a donation, depending on where you are, right? It is not financial advice. It could be different in your country, okay? So just take this with a grain of salt, right? But thinking as a game hoarding businessman that I am, I would probably do that. Sell it for $400,000 and claim the $100,000 as a donation that I could get it. I mean, everything's a tax break. Don't get me wrong, right? And your accountant can do magic with that stuff. And then you donate it. Now, while you're raising money for this quote unquote nonprofit charity, right? All the donations, most of it, like for example, here in LA and the homeless scam that they have going here, the directors, right? They give like $1 million to homeless shelters, and the guy running it makes like $500,000, right? So you set your salary. So he's here, right? He's set up as a charity, and the charity, he's the one named as the principal. And let's say that he says, well, I have to work on the charity. That's going to be my full-time job. No. What are you talking about? Not how you set it up, John. Not how you set it up at all. You could be the highest paid, wink, wink, but you don't have to work there. You can set it up, you know, get a couple of people, you pay them $25 an hour, whatever it is, right? You get college kids to just, you know, let people in the door, go in and out. You get donations for the building, you get donations, and you take the salary, right? You're the highest paid employee, but everybody else is running it. That's usually how these things run. Right? And he talked about in this particular case, I'm not going to play this video because it's super long, but he's got a money guy, he's got this and that and the other. Anybody worth his sense is going to tell him something to what I'm telling him, right? A professional that he hires. I'm not doing consulting for free, right? I'm just giving you general ideas. I would charge for those kind of opinions, right? As how the business should operate efficiently, for example. And he should get tax advice from a professional. He should get, you know, accounting advice from a professional, right? But those are the kind of things that happen in industry. So you can see how layered this story is, right? And this is an update in 2022. It's 2025. We still haven't broken ground as far as I know. I'm trying to buy tickets, but I don't see anything here. Right? When I look up the address of this museum, it doesn't look like a museum, right? So there's plenty, Karl, plenty of material here to research. Oh, John, this is a huge loser of an idea. It's just too complicated. But now he opened up the nonprofit. He should just close it, keep on game hoarding and just sell the entire thing, because that's life-changing money, man. This whole other crap is just, Jesus Christ. It's such a terrible idea. I would just have my family benefit from it, right? Like, for example, like my collection is already, planned out, who's going to get and all that stuff. And that's just it. That's just it, guys. But there's so much to this story that Karl can make. He could start from the beginning all the way to the end. And it would be a real interesting story. It's right up his alley. It's an older guy that hasn't done what he said he was going to do, and he can go from there. All right, humans. Thank you for joining me on this long video. I can't believe that this video is 6 years old, man. That is crazy. Guys, how time flies. I will catch you on the next one. Take care.